Hello and welcome to Wrestleopinionated. This is our weekly podcast all about the great shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg. This is...
Not hanging as badly as Muir, Matt Strange, and this is...
Is still playing Crusader Kings Muir.
Turn it off. We're doing
off.
a podcast. You son of a bitch.
Right, I'm going on my game if that's the case.
Oh, this podcast is over already.
So fuck you
As
guys.
much
I'm
as
on
the
Root.
heel pushing on AEW.
I'm on Root PC. I've got no games on here, so I'll just do the podcast on my.
You've got
Hi there, welcome.
Solitaire, haven't you?
Welcome to Kagetsu News, the show where I talk about Kagetsu for 2 hours.
I'm done with this. I'm back in. Right.
So this might be the first time you've listened to our podcast, and as such, you would need to know that we have a tier list, which is how we rank our matches and how we rank the overall episodes of BTE Dark and Dynamite. Mr. Strange will now explain that tier list. Over to you.
It's a bit of a boring one this week. I'm not throwing some flair on it because we've actually got a bunch of new subscribers and listeners, we noticed. So I should probably explain it in a less bullshit way than I normally do. Simple tier list system. You may very well know it from YouTube videos. You may well know it from Japanese computer games. It actually comes from the Japanese school system, which is similar to our school system in England. I don't know about America. We don't go too low. We start with a D. D is our lowest ranked match. A D is a match I have not enjoyed. We have not really got the story for. You just don't care. Boring matches that you don't give a shit about. Rolling up into a C. C is what we should expect from a match. That means it's good. Not great, not mind-blowing, but you have a good time all the way through. Enough story, the wrestling's good. Maybe the wrestler's just weird looking enough to carry the match with his face alone. Either way, you've had an entertaining time. That's a C. D match, moving up. Either you really care about the match and the story's just there and, you're really getting into it. Maybe the wrestling's phenomenal. Maybe it's got a good lead out or a good lead in. Just that grade above a C, but not enough to steal the night. A match is largely what we get as the best of your average show. A match, you've got story, you've got great wrestling, you care about what's happening in the ring, you have not looked up, you've not even texted your mate to say, wow, what a good match. Just good story, great wrestling, you give a fuck, in and out, continuing part of a story, A rank match, best of the night. S rank matches are the ones that only come through every now and then. They are the top of the tier. It stands for, in Japanese, Sugoi, or Super, conveniently S. Those are the ones that stick with you for ages, the ones that will be enshrined in the legend of the company, the matches where the story is great, the wrestling is sublime, you give a fuck about every moment, you tell your mates about it and send gifs of them on Facebook to each other. The top tier match. So D, shit, C, good, B, really good, A, amazing, S, super. And that's our tier list.
Thank you very much. Now we go over to our position for the news of the week. Now, I haven't managed to pick up any interesting news, but I believe Mr. Muir has something.
Put me on the spot. I see how it is. Traitorous.
We are the Asiatic fans of wrestling. Yeah. To be fair.
Well, the news for this week, and also will probably be covered in the Dynamite review, is the change of leadership at NJPW, which was Harold May is stepping down and the leader of NJPW America is taking over in charge of it currently, as far as I know.
Oh, really? Is it not Shingo, the one who looks like Shingo from America?
Yes, right.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Open the door.
Yeah, so basically, as he's just said, opening the door. It means hopefully we'll be able to see some AEW versus NJPW matches. Would be really nice. Not so sure about it. It'll happen myself because of how much the Elite scorned, NJPW. But Bushi Road may be open to something. It would be really nice if they were, because that means we could have Stardom versus AEW. Not that I'd really want to see the Stardom women wrestle AEW, but
So essentially, we might get all the really good Japanese wrestlers interacting with all of the really good AEW wrestlers. Hopefully,
yeah.
Just watch Shingo and Naito run, just LIJ run a train through AEW. That would please me.
It would be very interesting, like I
It
said.
would be lovely to see some tweeners in AEW. More on that later.
And now on to our part where we choose a social media of the week that we think you should check out, or somebody who's been hot on social media of the week, or a post on social media of the week. Mr. Strange, do you have anything for us this week?
I actually do. I've got two little things. First one is go to Hangman's Wall, and he did another one of his little letter readouts about how he's going to be in this tournament. I don't have like big notes on it because it's funnier to read than me, saying it verbatim. But there is something, some bits like, God, I hope I don't have to fight Wardlow and his giant man titties. And my method for dealing with Lance Archer is to slowly compliment him and tell him he's handsome every day and stuff like that. Hangman doing Hangman shit. He's always worth a follow. And otherwise, I'm giving a shout out to the Snake Man, King Serpentico. He's got it's at King Serpentico on Twitter. He's got a really good sense of humor. He's always sharing shit. He's always doing jokes and meta stuff. Obviously, he's getting his push in Chaos, Family, Nightmare, People, whatever. Chaos Project. Thanks. But yeah, he's really like involved in that little indie jokey culture that a bunch of them have, and he's always posting. And the fact he's John Cruz as well, so there's some meta jokes. So yeah, if you're not already following Hangman, you should, because he's actually funny. And so Serpentico, he's really part of the indie shitter side of things that I love. So yeah, Hangman's humor and Snackman otherwise. Boom.
Cool.
It today. Look at me.
Yeah.
Fucking
Which, considering when we did the production meeting, in our notes we have news, Nick has something, and social media to be confirmed.
Yeah, Strange will improvise.
We are on the ball. So moving on, it is time for our review of the week, and as always, we start off with BTE, or Being the Elite. What did you guys think of the show, and what score do we think it gets overall?
You're the leader on BTE. It's your job.
Yeah, BTE was okay this week. It wasn't the best one ever, but I still had quite a lot of enjoyment from it. I'm bored of Colt and Nakazawa. I just don't find it that funny.
Got a sensible chuckle from me.
Fair enough.
Signal accepted that it was Colt. Not like a big laugh, but haha.
Yeah. 3 and 5 trying to recruit was funny. I really enjoyed that.
I like how John Silver's cool on the indie scene, but 5 isn't. That brought me joy. This guy's a fucking loser.
That was my moment of the night. That was that was my favourite bit of BTE with Sammy. I'd have joined you guys if it wasn't for him.
He needs Reynolds back. I didn't get the Jurassic Express trying to hit on Tay Conti thing. I'm not quite sure what was going on there, but I did enjoy Eddie in the background.
Eddie in the background pulling funny faces because Dean can't talk was hilarious to me.
Yeah,
it was just
exactly that.
Yeah, but otherwise, that didn't go down well with me. We got the BTE belt with the Bucks, so that was a bit strange. I wonder what they're going to do with it. I'm guessing it's going to be a bit internet champion-y. I don't know.
If they heavy iron weight metal, but whatever the fucking DDT
belt. Yeah, if they do that with it.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be one on Tiddlywinks and games like that.
I'm going to have to see, because if it just turns out as another excuse to watch wrestlers fight each other at Street Fighter, as much as I love computer gaming, I don't care about wrestlers playing computer games.
Bangladesh was a big miss for me.
A smart mark made me laugh. The one app on
Yes.
The smart mark app, yeah.
No, otherwise, meh. Dark Order benching. And how
Johnny Thirsty. That made me laugh when Johnson was watching 10.
When Brody walked in and went, usually I got a bunch of material for you, but what the fuck was that? Just fucking got me.
10 got mogged by 99 with the weights and everything.
I'm really glad that AEW know how over Dark Order are and how much people love them, and they're going to use that in the show. I like that.
Well, they meta reference that with the Bucks going, yeah, we should do a vlog. Yeah, that's the bit everybody likes. They don't care about the Dark Order, and you can tell when they start doing those kind of meta jokes. Oh, right, Dark Order are the most over thing in BTE at the minute. Then,
yeah. So, don't use that to your advantage in your main show, though.
More rage on that later.
Oh, books are so evil. I am so scared.
There was books doing text, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That was a thing that happened.
Yeah. Kenny Omega. I'm not sure what happened here because all I wrote down was Kenny Omega, so that doesn't help at all.
I can tell you what this is because Kenny wasn't actually in it because I speeded through it today, or at least I don't think he was. If he was, it wasn't big. It was the hangman at the desk thing, and they said Kenny Omega's in the tournament, and it just it was great. It shot up.
It just kept going on, didn't it? Yeah, because
Yeah, I liked the fact they got the announcers involved in that, doing all the little sound bites.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And then we had Hangman laying some truth on Brandon.
Yeah.
Should it have been on Dynamite?
Yes, it should have been. But it's not Nightmare People, so it can't have time space. So,
I was wondering about this because I don't think the bit with Hangman at the desk should have been.
No, but
because the slightly meta hearing voices things is a very BTE, and I think it was a follow-on from that. So I'm willing to give them a bit of a pass.
I'm with you on that. I meant the specifically shouting at Brandon.
Well, the other thing is that the whole Brandon and Hangman thing, though it should have been on Dynamite or even Dark. I think the problem we've got is that all of our storyline that could happen on Dark happens on BTE, and all we get on Dark is an hour and a half of wrestling.
Yeah, whereas BTE is meant to be some meta side joke for smarks like us, and Dark is actually a show.
Yeah, and the vlogs, and it should be, what the Young Bucks did this week.
Like, I'm only human. I love wrestling. I willingly watched and showed people like 6 to 8 hours of wrestling yesterday, from Chikara matches through to Stardom. I was watching wrestling yesterday.
It's a whole pay-per-view as well.
But yeah, you can't expect people to watch 2 hours of show, an hour and a half of Dark, 20 minutes of BT, and then also put things on your fucking vlog and stuff. Oh, it's the podcast with blah. I don't care, guys. I'm sorry. I love wrestling. I love these people. I love all the indiness of it. There's only so much I can give a fuck if it's not having consistent story. And mini rant halfway through. Sorry, boys.
It's okay. I fully get where you're coming from at the moment.
So overall, BTE score.
I would say probably a high C towards a low B. Myself,
I'd give it a B. I think the Dark Order bits were good. I think the Hangman bits were good. Sure, we got let down with like the bar bits and a bit of the other things, but nothing like actually upset me. I wasn't like any bit where I was like, oh boy, the books are shopping for action figures again. I think they're concise enough, and the high spots mellowed out anything which I didn't find that interesting, basically. But that's from me.
I'll go with the B then, overall, for me.
I went with the C.
Oh, fair. Okay, so
I thought it was just all right. Yeah.
It's all right, guys. I'm getting my positivity out early.
Good lad, you smart bastard.
I have a feeling there's a bit of a roller coaster coming up at some point. But before we get to that...
Oh, yes.
Before we get to that, Dark this week. Dark was another hour and a half Dark. It was so much.
Imagine watching this Brandy versus Kenzie match after having to watch entire Stardom pay-per-view. How good was this? How good was this, Strange, after watching that?
Okay, I do normally take the lead on Dark, so I suppose that's a segue to me, isn't it?
Yes, yep. Mate.
Would you like the first note on my Dark pages? Last night, whilst watching Kagetsu matches, Nick turned to me and asked if I was excited for the next Brandy match. The first match on Dark was Paige versus Brandy. I was not excited.
Kenzie Paige versus Brandy. If it had been Paige versus Brandy, it would have been much better.
I'd have watched the shit out of that. Not feeling Kenzie's blue, but you can see that she's going through some extreme training, because when we saw her a couple of weeks back, I think it was 2 weeks ago, she was a lot more defined at that point, whereas she just chunked up a bit for this match. Yeah. And this isn't like a derogatory, this isn't she looks fat, this is how weight training works.
She's building again.
You bulk up and then you try to trim it down as much as you can, you go through. So you can see she's putting in loads of effort.
So fair play she's doing great.
And then there was the match. That was there. So it was solid enough.
Brandy can't do Justin's moves.
It was okay. I wouldn't call it good, but I didn't hate my life going through it. And then Red Velvet ran at the end to just Morg Brandy in every single way. Just She's just superior. I'm sorry, Brandy. I know Tony listens to this if he plays this to you. But you're very lovely and you do great at PR stuff and you look great and you're learning well, but Red Velvet is just you, but better in every way. And I'm sorry.
In wrestling.
In the ring.
Wrestling. Yeah, in the ring. Let's be clear.
I mean, if it turns out Red Velvet's like an amazing PR person with a business degree, I'm coming back for an apology from you two.
Apologise.
We're good. So my review of this is serviceable, not great, but not a mess. And then Red Velvet ran in and continued some storyline, which I approved of on Dark.
Yeah, it was a match. Watts and Roses versus Jurassic Express. I have heard of Watts before. And so I was like, I know his name. Let's actually put a bit more effort into the eyes.
Yeah.
Put more effort into the eyes.
Whatever.
Watch intensely. Fuck's sake, what is wrong with me? Solid match, actually. I like the putting over of Watts, even if he was sort of a random new person. And he had infinite time in ring. Like he jumped into the ring at one point to help Roses and was just in there for like 5 minutes. And
Adam rules, mate.
Adam rules. I enjoyed it. It wasn't good. Wasn't great, but it was good. It was solid. It was like a sort of average C grade dark match for me. I don't know if either of you two have got anything.
No, it was fine enough. It was just another one of those matches I didn't need, though. In all honesty, but it was okay.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Morg.
It was all right.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get that a lot through this Dark.
I tell you what,
right.
I'll just speed through, and if anybody wants to add anything, just shout at me. That's probably the best way.
Go
to
for it. I've got notes.
A solid Jericho promo package for him and his mate was a nice little bit of piece of history for Luther. Would have been cool to actually have it on Dynamite.
It would have been better for building that match at the end. Yeah,
they should have shown it twice. They should have done the WWE thing and shown that twice. They should have shown it on Dark and on Dynamite. Sorry.
Yeah. To try and build it.
I've got that on my note.
Bowens and Lee versus Chaos Project. I had a really good time listening to Excalibur and Taz and Starks trying to figure out where the ribbons came from. Excalibur's like he's got them injected into his wrists and stuff.
I like the bit about the handprint as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Starks calling Taz out.
So good. I've seen Bowens before. Serpentico missed his sunset flip at the start, which was a little bit disappointing. Otherwise, it was fine. Commentary had a great time. Bowens' spinning swing blade thing was fucking sick. Otherwise, it was all right.
Yeah. It was a solid dark match.
It was all right.
Hobbs versus... Hobbs versus Rising. I love Rising.
Rising's great.
I'm a little bit sad that Hobbs has just sort of risen up to just straight squash matches now. As you know, we don't enjoy them, but Rising put him over as fucking shit. If Will Hobbs' spine buster is called The Last Will and Testament, because that's what Excalibur shouted when he did it, that's fucking a great name for a move if your name is Will Hobbs.
It is what it's called.
Yeah.
That's awesome, and I love it. Otherwise, solid squash. Yeah. Eddie promo.
Yeah. It's an Eddie promo.
Eddie does great promo.
Where's your wife?
Hey, Blade, where's your wife? Right. Oh no, this is where I first lost my temper.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Silver versus QT. My first note is please no. Now, I like QT's ring words, but I'm bored of seeing the Dark Order lose. That was my first note. So we do have a slight shift in paradigm here. It was solid, just didn't care. Oh, and then brilliantly, Dustin got to beat up Uno for a bit. Just take him out, and then QT got to take out Stu Grayson 5 and 10 in a run so that Silver could win. Now, I don't mind giving heels dirty wins, but do they really need to beat 4 members of Dark Order for one of them to get a win?
Right.
QT's good in the ring, but Stu Grayson is better. QT looks good in the ring, but 10 looks better. Silver is more beloved. Alan Angels can do more flippy shit. And they just fucking eat people alive, and I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it.
Just think of it, how much we were enjoying. Sorry for the segue into Stardom again, but there was a match versus the Stars, which are the only babyface team, versus the Donners, which are the big heel threat at the moment. It took 4 of them to take down one of the Donners, but you felt it because that's how you build it up. But this is the wrong way round. Why are the faces so powerful?
You know what? I reckon I could have got over this match and liked it more if there'd just been a little bit of healing. Maybe Stu Grayson came out and hit him with a move or something, and then he won. But no, it's got to be so dirty. It's unreal. Does anybody have anything to add to this before I roll on out of anger?
My note is John Silver wins. Yay!
It's
a happy yay. It's a happy yay.
Weak
but
in winning.
Right, I'm just going to roll on. Because I can't keep getting angry about it. I can't.
No.
Hollywood Blondes versus Benoni and Ali. I still think Benoni looks like fucking dimes.
He looks great.
I had high hopes for this match, and I would say that this is the one match I would say people can actually go out their way to watch. It was good, solid heel work. It had one of the coolest moments I've seen in wrestling in a while, which is when Griff put Ali on his shoulders and threw him into a spear into Benoni, and I probably popped. I was like, "That's fucking inspired."
It was great, wasn't it?
They've got their own tag team combo now. They've got the clothesline powerbomb combo, which looks cool. It's like a safer doomsday device.
Yeah.
That's probably the only match I went in and out of happily. Sadly. Moore versus Swole had a higher pace at least. I did look away and it ended, so that's all I've got on it. Do you have anything to add, Women's expert?
Good, but nothing important. It was a C. It was a solid C. It was a good match, but that's it.
Seidel Nakazawa. I actually kind of enjoyed the comedy of it. I enjoyed the oil spots. The
build was all right for this.
There was no shooting. No shooting star press either. The teasers. In honesty, it just made me laugh. It was a nice little sub-comedy bit in the middle of it that I enjoyed. I can't exactly recommend it because it was a break of pacing, but it's one of the other few matches I made it through and went, ooh.
I like what they did. They took a bad thing that happened and made it into a bit of a funny plot story instead. I like that. That's good. That's good.
Mabadu versus Eddie. Mabadu's power slam is fucking dope. I'm really excited for Mabadu. Obviously, I love Eddie being a shit and like dropping to his knees and instantly going for eye rakes and such like. I do think that match deserved more time and Mabadu deserved a bit more of a showing because he has been shown to be quite powerful and bounced off Billy Gunn and stuff before. And I can't help but feel, and he was just a bit too squashed.
I don't think Eddie needs to be squashing people at all. I don't don't gain anything from watching Eddie squash people. I think Eddie's better as this, guy that goes out and maybe lose against the big people, but he always thinks in his head he hasn't lost.
He's won, yeah.
Yeah. That would be the better role for him.
He's an orc.
Yeah, getting him actual wins doesn't add to the character, but that's, part of the course for Dark, isn't it?
Yeah, then we had a Sanella promo that was fine. Somebody else might have to review Dean versus Angelico because I just can't get into Angelico's style. It was slow as usual and I didn't care.
I just don't think there's anything in the Mexican submission wrestling. I think it's under-wrestled, so no one's really good against him. And catch-as-catch-can wrestling is far more interesting to watch. So, if I want submissions, I'd go for that. But
where's my Angelico leaping off Dario Cueto's roof?
There is no Dario Cueto's roof to leap off of.
There are many things to leap off, but that's kind of it was the one thing I mentioned to the Raptor. We were talking about it, and I was saying, where's my Angelico with the greatest leap into a ring ever, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and definitely better than Shane McMahon's belly flop off the top of the lighting rack.
Here comes the money.
Splat.
Yeah. And then we get to the finale, which was
this is a great one, isn't it?
It was solid mostly. Lucha Bros versus Sanella. I think that Sonny and Janela, specifically Sonny, has too much setup for Penta to do.
I think he gets frustrated. I think he gets very frustrated.
If you watched him in that match, there were a good couple of times where he was like, "Oh, I'm meant to be here. Oh, I'm meant to do this. Oh, I'm meant to be over that." And I think he's very much from the lucha.
Yeah,
a few spots and fucking improv with each other. And there was a bit like he wasn't in position for Sonny's axe kick thing. Don't get me wrong, Sonny still aced it, pulled off a different move and did the thing. He didn't spin around for another Sonny thing. There were a couple of times for that, and I don't think that their style works well with the more although they're high spot monkeys, it's always very brawly stuff that they've learned to do with the other person, as opposed to sequences of spots, which seems to be the Sonny Janela method. It's like improv theatre man versus method actor man, basically. It was all right. Like, it wasn't a terrible match. It just wasn't what I wanted from either of them, realistically.
I just feel like I could have had a Phoenix Pentagon match here that would have been an A instead of this, you know?
Where's my Penta who used to break people's arms in Lucha Underground?
Yeah, I'm with Morg.
Yes, mate. Yeah, no, I may have watched a Penta match yesterday, which may have featured Penta fighting 3 Japanese women.
Was it by any chance Penta versus the Black Lotus tribe?
To be fair, he was showing it to someone that hadn't seen it before, so it wasn't.
I see you don't know wrestling. Watch this. But that's all of Dark, and I honestly think it was very skippable. I don't think I love wrestling, as I said, and I've watched a lot of wrestling. I reckon you can just skip this week's Dark. I don't feel like I've gained anything.
I'd say it was a C, and I don't necessarily recommend watching Cs.
I wouldn't go out your way to watch this. I'm sorry if I sound a bit cynical today, but you've got better things.
If you want to watch a man throw a man into another man, watch Griffin Pillman versus...
Yes, no, that's a good call.
They break down all of these on YouTube into the individual matches. So, yeah, I would probably just go and watch that one.
Yeah.
Yep. Woo!
And
low
maybe
CD for me.
Maybe the Chaos Project match.
If you wanted the build for
their
match, if you want
the build for, yeah.
It's not great though. Like
shout out to Pentago. Don't recommend his match. What a monster I've become. Sorry, Tony.
Sorry, Tony.
So moving on.
This week's check.
So moving on to Dynamite. Dynamite opens with talking heads, all talking about Jericho, ready for the 30 years of Jericho. And then we have JR, Schiavone, Taz, Excalibur, and Ricky Starks on commentary. And the first match opens Will Hobbs versus Cage for the FTR Championship. Cage wins with the drill core. What did you think of the match, and what score did you give the match?
I was very excited for a Hoss match.
Yeah, I wanted a big Hoss match, yeah.
And honestly, it was a solid Hoss off. It wasn't as smooth as smooth as it could have been. Like you could see they weren't that familiar with each other.
Will
and Hobbs
is still very green though.
I've got that down on my notes. Red is a little green, but there was a fucking delicious power slam from him.
Yeah, he's got it. He just needs more time. You know?
Cage did a pump handle face slam that made me fucking pop. It was wicked. Obviously, Hobbs' spine buster is great. The entire match was a solid Hoss off, but I can't help but feel the finish just seemed a little underwhelming.
Yeah, I think you could have done better with this, but I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. I just feel like these matches have been very underbaked. You know, it feels like we're getting the resolutions of this a lot earlier than it should be, but I don't know. But yeah, I gave a solid high C, low B for the match because I thought the match was real good. I just
threw a C on it. It was fine for me.
High C, C/B. It was a good big man match, good Hoss match. We enjoyed it, but yeah, I think it was a high C. Maybe a low B.
Oh, you've got to choose now, because if you make it a B, it's a B. But if it's a C, it's a C.
I wrote it down as C/B, and that always means high C.
I think
it's a C then. Yeah. It was all right. It just...
Yeah.
You're going to hear a lot of that today, I think.
Yeah.
I still think this one's possibly worth watching, though.
I think it's worth watching, yeah. No, I think that
match... Nice to see they're using big boys. So
Yeah, following on from that, Taz offers Hobbs the chance to join Team Taz. Darby Allin comes out and interrupts Will giving any answer. What did you think of that segment and that bit?
I wrote, I can't wait for the save scene, do that same thing again, and then he came out. And I was like, wow, it's the same joke again. I can't wait to see another wrestler run out to say another wrestler. We've got Brandy saving Velvet, Velvet saving Brandy. One
Baby faces.
Hobbs coming out to say, I appreciate the baby faces. No, save it, Matthew. Save it. Stay calm.
Baby faces are too powerful and they always need saving. They're always got. There's like 20 of them in the wings to come out to save anybody at any point.
I'm just adding something for a later note.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I see that they're trying to build it, but...
It would have meant something if we didn't see it every week. Now it's just a thing that happens after, like, 2/3 of matches.
Also, like, aren't heels meant to, like, be strong, look strong, coming up to the match, and then the blow-off when the faces win? You feel rewarded.
Save it.
When the faces win... sorry.
Yeah, let's carry on.
I like how Morg preempted me.
Yeah, let's go on.
So then we had another celebs talking head for Jericho's 30 years, and then a Lance Archer video promo.
Whoa.
And we had Tanahashi. Do you want to comment on that?
The Ace of Japan was on, of New Japan was on here, so this was my biggest pop of the night, and I'm sorry, guys.
He messaged me to say, I've just popped, and I was like, why have you? And I was like, oh, Tanahashi, the ultimate dad. Tanahashi has more face energy than John Cena and Hulk Hogan, and more dad energy than all of SCU combined. He's wonderful, and it was lovely to see him.
And also, it also goes back to, because he's good friends with Jericho, goes back to the whole door thing,
Open the forbidden door. Sorry, Morg, take back control.
Lance promo.
So Lance promo. What did you think of the promo? Did you give it a score?
He's getting better. He's getting a lot better.
I gave him a C. He's still learning, but you can see he's learning from Jake, and he's not just shouting every day. He needs to work on his growly voice. He's not quite sure where to bring it in. I'll kill you and stuff. But good. See, he's doing very well. If I was his teacher at high school, I'd tell his parents he's got lots of potential.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. It was a good promo. Unfortunately, something happened later. So following on from that, Hybrid 2 versus FTR, a tag team championship match. FTR win with a top rope splash. What did you think of the match? We'll go into what happened afterwards, and what score did you give it?
I've actually got quite a few notes on this. It looks like Jack Evans is actually getting buffer, which he doesn't realistically need to do because the dude is
buff for his size. He's really quite built,
I laughed at the Bucks watching the TV backwards.
That
and all
was
their
brilliant.
jokes.
The WWE joke, but
there were a couple of slips in this match. Like Jack slipped at one point. It didn't matter. He's like Phoenix. He can just roll through and pull everything off, and that really helps me. I can be a bit of a prick when it comes to botches and slips if they sort of stop and have to realign, whereas these boys just roll through. Good Tully shenanigans, obviously. He's probably the best part of FTR for me.
He is.
Can't say I've massively felt it huge. It had a good, fun start, but then it sort of slowed down. I don't like Angelico's wrestling style, but it would have been nice if he actually got to go in the ring for a while.
Yeah, that was my comments were, God, the commentary's bored during this match, and Angelico, does he get a go yet?
I've noted that the commentary sounded bored, except JR. Everybody on that commentary deck was bored, except for JR, who loves FTR.
Oh, man!
Just watching Jack Evans being mauled for 15 minutes was pretty fucking dull. Then Angelico did get a hot tag, and it was pretty fucking good for a little run, but then it just slowed back down. It was all technically fine. Evans' selling is great, but it just didn't excite me, and I didn't care.
I also hate double submissions, which Angelico pulled off at one point during this. I fucking hate when they have two men locked in one move. I think that just always looks silly, but
I don't mind them. I gave it a C. It was all right. Everything was fine, but just no hype.
Yeah, it had no hype or anything really warranting me to care. I think it's the issue.
So I don't
More-
think you're not going to get any hype for these matches. That's the whole point there, a showcase. I really enjoyed this match. I thought this was a solid tag team match. This got a B/A from me and the Raptor.
Fucking hell.
This was a really good tag team match. Liked a lot of the work. I liked all the beatdown. It was good. The problem is that THQ have been shit talking heels. Had they been coming in as high flying baby faces, I think
There
you
would have been no
might have.
reason to care.
The winner would have been different.
And I also think if they'd have been coming in as high fly baby faces, the bit with the beatdown of Jack Evans, which I thought was really good with the holding the leg and the limb work, I think
I'm
that
with you.
would have been maybe would have stood out more. TH2 definitely played the baby faces in this. Yeah, I really enjoyed this match.
Really? This is like me really liking the Moxley Eddie brawl, though, and being on my own little thing. I just got so bored of watching one man be beat to death by two guys with no personality that
They are just.
Tully is the personality of that group. Tully is fucking wicked, and I love him. He comes across as the proper shit, and he's ace.
Well, they
That's
just
the-
feel like generic evil man from the 80s and generic other evil man from the 80s. I'm just like, okay, cool, look at that.
So following on from that, the Bucks super kicked the backstage camera guy, and then the best friends came out and wore their new FTR weenie shirts and cut a promo calling out FTR. What did you think of the Bucks promo?
The Bucks promo? Do you mean the Best Friends promo?
Best Friends. Sorry, Best Friends promo.
I'm loving Evil Bucks, but I obviously love the Best Friend, so I didn't rate this. I like the fact that Eddie is obviously teaching Trent to use a mic because he's doing it weekly now. I love the Weenies jokes. I love it's perfect me, so I didn't rank it because it would be biased and unfair because I loved it.
It was very meta. I enjoyed it, and it's good, but I hope that it goes somewhere good. I'm just a bit worried that they're just going to get squashed.
Following on from that, MJF promo about Jericho, and then more celebs and wrestlers give thanks to Jericho. What do you think of the MJF promo? Are we just giving our standard ruling of it was an MJF promo, therefore it was good?
It was good. It's a nice warm up for what comes at the end of the show.
Yeah,
basically. Solid MJFing. We know it's good.
Really good.
Should we skip the next match? So, Cody with Arn Anderson versus Brody with Silver for the TNT Championship. This was a dog collar match. Cody wins with the Crossroads. Before we go any further, what did you think of the match itself, not the result? The match.
Really good.
Yeah, it's got to be solid here. The match itself before we move into the result and the after show.
The match was good.
I have a selection of notes, and I'm going to go through them all in a calm and relaxed method. I enjoy Cody 2 entrances being back. I like his big entrance.
That's because his 2 entrances had to be socially distanced. That's why we've not had the 2 entrances. That was the Raptors joke, and I am stealing it for the podcast.
That's great, and have 3 claps. Brody pulled off some weird faces.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why John Silver had to bleed in the intro bits, unless that was accidental bleeding. I'm not sure what this is added. I'm aware John Silver is over as fuck, but
I think it was to try and show how dangerous the chain is.
Yeah,
okay.
But I also see me and the Raptor also wonder because the way Brody looked. We weren't sure whether he'd got hard weighed and wasn't sure. And the way Brody got him the chair and then told him to. Brody almost broke character a bit, but kept character at the same time. So I'm not sure. Yeah, if it was a kayfabe thing, well done on blurring it enough for us to be not sure what was going on there.
Yeah, fair. Otherwise, I had a really good time in this. There was some fucking awesome chain uses. Brody fucking pulling down Cody out of his cutter and fucking catching him and shit was ace. I did notice about 3 minutes in that the chain didn't stop jangling, and that did great on me for the entire match.
You ruined the match for me by telling me about the chain. I could not stop hearing it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice it.
No, that's good. It was Strange mentions it to me. He's like, all I could hear is the chain, and then it's all I could hear. I was, oh, thanks. That's really added to this.
Obviously, we slowed down during the commercials, but we picked up a lot afterwards.
I
Ruth
like that we actually got like a big spot during the commercial.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. It made it feel like it wasn't just a stalled, boring part that they do for the commercials. So, yeah.
After the post break, I actually forgot the chain noise for a bit. I noted that, but then I remembered it a bit later. Ruth said there was too much blood. I was fine with the level of blood. I thought the
blood was more than acceptable, I think, for the level of match we're going for.
Both dried up by the end of the mask out of duration, which was, shows that it wasn't too deep and everything was fine. There were some great strikes. I'm not sure the Arn moment was needed. But, Nightmare people just have to beat people, don't they? So more on that later. More on that later.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a slip on the chain by Brody at one point. He just pulled it back. The powerbomb onto the chain was fucking brutal. I had a really good match. For me, this match, according to my ranks, just ranking the match, started with a B, then sort of went down to a C for me when it got a bit slower and, broke down pace, and went back up to an A for those final moments of fucking chain yanking back and forward awkwardness. That was a technically very good match that I have never seen the style of before, with inventive use of chains and different moves. An interesting selection of characters getting involved, not all of which I agreed with, and a very grueling, display of wrestling that I appreciate they put on for me, and I think the match was technically great. Match.
So what score did you give the match?
The actual match, not including the result?
Not including the result.
I'll give it a high B.
I think I'm with Nick. I think high B to an A for me.
Yeah, it was, B. So my notes have D for the result. That's D for don't fucking do this. And B for the actual match, for being.
Overall, I wrote it.
I have
it
F
a D.
at the end. I have an F written at the end of my notes.
What F for Brody's fucking career? As we bury it.
Fuck, son.
Why? Why are we here? No.
Welcome to our Stardom podcast. I will be starting to watch.
There's just been Cinderella in Yokohama, which was fantastic. I give it a solid A. So if you want to go watch that more quickly, we'll return in 3.5 hours. Okay, thank you. Jokes aside, though, I don't understand this booking, and it just makes me upset because I don't like the Nightmare people as it is, and then putting them over after you started finally building a big heel character in Brody, and then just fucking stomping him because Cody needs his belt back.
Right, I'm gonna try not to lose my shit.
Yep.
I'm gonna stay very calm, and I'm just gonna read out my notes of the post match Cody promo. I'm just gonna calmly go through this. I've got Nightmare people written down.
Good old Nightmare people.
Typical Cody babyface. Very heartwarming.
Yeah.
I hate it. Also, after you have defeated the rising heels of your company, I would call them dedicated heels, but 6 weeks. Did it really need to roll into comedy?
We need to make them look pathetic as well.
We need to roll into, I like Orange Cassidy, I like the Best Friends, but do we need to go from what is essentially, regardless of my feelings of it, the hero coming back and overcoming adversity and defeating the baddie? Do we really need Liu Kang to defeat Shao Kahn and then Kermit the Frog to run out and go, I'm next? I just think that was a bad pacing choice.
It did make the whole match seem a bit farcical, and it kind of made the whole match where Brody, one of his defenses, was kind of pointless because Orange Cassidy's back.
In the happy dance.
Yeah, mate. Exactly. Yeah, but...
Morg, take over. I think there's too much negativity here. Your job is to keep us in line, and
so after that we had a Kenny. Well, you've just cut the. Cody cuts the promo. Cassidy comes out to challenge TNT Championship next week, and Cody.
What do you think about that, Morg?
I liked the way it was done. I agree with you with the hindsight of what you've said. Yes, I agree with you. I hadn't thought of it in that way, but I've stopped thinking of Cassidy as much of a comedy wrestler.
Okay,
I think
fair enough.
because he beat Jericho and his
He's
Superman
legit now.
Superman punch is better than Roman Reigns's, and I think Roman Reigns's is really good. I just think Cassidy's is really, really good. We've made it look like a devastating move. So I hadn't considered that. I liked the lazy thumbs up and Cody giving the thumbs up. I thought that was just a nice little touch.
If they come out as Fire Rant and Stardust for the match, then I'll pop.
Oh, that'll be the best. So following on from that, we had a Kenny Omega backstage promo. What did you think of the promo? What score did you give it?
Kenny, he's just a fucking nerd, isn't he? He talked about the things he'd done. I like Kenny. It was a solid description of things he's done, but let's be honest, Kenny is not cool. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think it was a good promo. I think it'll get the smarks happy because they're like, "Oh my god, cleaner Kenny," which I think it's what they need. I think it's good work. Yeah.
I'm excited to see Hangman versus Kenny in the tournament now.
I liked seeing I thought all the little digs at Hangman were quite cool as well.
He's really good. Kenny is good at promoing.
Now that things that I am angry about have failed to satisfy, the Hangman versus Kenny story is the one I am the most invested in, other than Brandon Avalon. I've got to stay calm.
So moving on from that, we had our 5 minutes of women's matches. Big Swole versus Serena Deeb, and Swole wins with a rolling elbow. What do you think of the match? What score did you give it?
I like this. I do comment at the top that I was a little blown out because the last section had disappointed me, shall we say. But Deeb's really fucking solid. It can make anyone look good.
She helped Swole a lot in this match and made her look really good.
Yeah,
if they had more than 2 minutes, I think it would have been a good match.
Yeah, Swole's headbutts are still one of the best ones in the business, if you ask me. Headbutts normally shit. There was
awful normally, yeah.
Lovely little Swole combo at the end with the back and forth. I gave it a high C/B. I think that this was technically good. I'd have liked to see more of it. I think Deeb's great. I think Swole's really getting there. And it was not as good as the match before, but I was happier with the outcome. So a C/B from me. I actually kind of enjoyed the women's 5 minutes.
Yeah, mine was pushing up towards a B also because I just thought they were solid. For the AEW women's division, I think this was one of the better matches they had.
Right, it's Morg, our women's expert. You're gonna have to. You're the decider. Well, you're not even the decider. What did you think, Morgan?
Swole versus Serena. That was a good match. It was a C for me. I was maybe a bit overcritical. Interesting though, statement that I said about Serena. She's going to be our female Cody. I think she's going to be able to have a good match with anyone.
Oh, you fell down. I don't think she'll take all the belts just to appease herself.
No. I think. Well, that's going to be Brandy, obviously.
Yeah.
Come on, nightmare people. Don't forget, they haven't announced a women's match for next week yet. They haven't announced the women's championship for the 1 year anniversary dark. So obviously, Brandy will be number one in role for that.
I swear to fucking shit.
That would be amazing.
If Brandy wins that belt next week, I'm not on this podcast.
If she wins it and the Nightmare People go over FTR in the tag match,
can you imagine?
I'd piss, and then we're doing a different podcast. Anyway.
Women's match, worth a watch. It shows that the AEW's Women League is improving.
Yeah. Following on from that, we had a Mox promo. What did you think of the promo? What score did you give it if you gave it one?
I did rank this. Yeah. I really like this. It
was a Death Rider promo from NJPW. That's what it felt like to me.
Biker Western Mox, cowboy feel is the perfect gimmick for him to sort of retire into when he's not champion. Yeah. I think that guy you can kick the fuck out of me, I'll be all right. Maybe I'll kick the fuck out of you. Slow biker westerny bar. I think that is the perfect alternative in split on a dichotomy for a feud with Eddie Kingston. I think Eddie is the rough old dude.
Yeah.
streets, and Moxley is like the biker westerny one. Is a brilliant little split, and I gave this I actually ranked it. I gave it an A. I thought it was cool, and I'm normally critical of Moxley.
Yeah, this got Moxley over for me. I thought it was great. I thought it was exactly what he needs for his character.
I really enjoyed this promo. We gave it an A. We thought it was not only good, but it was different.
It shows a new direction.
Yeah. I'll go with solidarity and give it an A then.
I
was going to give it a high B, but I'll definitely go with you because I think it deserves it because it shows development on the character, which is. Really
I do think you're right. I think I think that's a good shout. That turning him into the old cowboy might actually be the way forward for him. Following on from that, we had Chaos Project versus Jericho and Hagor. Jericho wins with the Judas effect. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it?
I think I needed this match. I kind of felt like this was like a cathartic match for me because I was still seething over earlier things.
You're seething.
Seething. Cope. I like Serpentico. Luther and Jericho were actually really good together. Like Jericho, they were able to take quite a few of each other's moves, and they were very familiar with each other. And you could see like a bit more edge in the slaps and stuff, where they were actually having fun.
Yeah.
Jericho busted out the middle rope lion salt, which I always love.
Yep.
Luther not so good with Hagor, unfortunately.
No, not at all. But
Go sold like a bit for him when he was in. So the Serpentico did a fucking massive vertical DDT thing, which was cool as shit. Like it wasn't perfect, it wasn't smooth, but in the end, I was watching of old dudes who were mates fucking fight each other. There was a brutal knee drop. Luther did get a bit fucking tired for a bit, and that showed. He needed to bring Serpentico in. But Luther's catch of the bat was perfect. Like he fucking
it was great.
That. It was solid. It was fun. Arguably, it was a C, but it was like a B for me for cheering me up. Just watching two old dudes have fun with some of the people in the ring. I don't know. It's sort of.
You know what this was?
Level for me.
It was a dart match back when dart was the best thing they did. That's exactly what this was. This was the match you put on after the show to make everybody happy and have a good laugh. I think, anyway.
I mean, you guys will have to rank it more fairly because, as I said, I think it was clumsy in places.
I think it was a C, mate, but I did enjoy it also quite a lot. So I don't know.
I think I'm down with you. I think if we're ranking the match, it's a C. But see, by our scale, there is that comment about story that you always throw in. That thing that gives it a bit extra. And this had 30 years of story, and they did a lot of story, and the commentators did a good job of putting over the story. So I'm going to let you have the final decision based on that, based on what I have just said.
I think it's still a C because if we'd have had the extra promo and stuff from Dark, it might have been pushed up to a B. But I think we all know it was a B in like comfy wrestling heart zone. This is the kind of thing we could have like watched in early 2000s WWE with just some mid-carders having a laugh. And that's essentially what Jericho did. He didn't have one of his top-tier title matches. He just went out and had some comfy
fun with his mate. Yeah, which is great. I'm happy to see it.
So C is an official presentation, but like B for just heartwarmingness in
just
the rest.
For the enjoyment of the actual sport.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
So the overall show rank either way. So
following on from that, MJF comes out, cuts promo, gives Jericho a present, which is a picture of MJF. Jericho breaks the picture over the clown's head, and then the two seem to both find that funny. What did you think of the ending segment? And then all the heels came out to celebrate Jericho, which I thought was quite amusing because Jericho had just been playing babyface virtually.
It's because all the heels are more likable.
It's because the heels have to band together in case one babyface comes after them.
Shows up. No, I've realised that.
Just Jason Voorheesing through them all.
I'm going to go back to I'll start at the beginning. I enjoyed MJF. This isn't about me. I didn't get the clown. I noticed Wardlow almost pulled the fucking sheet off too early because MJF clearly wasn't going to do a countdown, and he sort of chuckled to himself and put it back, which made me laugh. I kind of wish Jericho had a bit more time to say some Jericho things. It was his 30-year celebration, but I laughed my ass off at the picture of MJF.
It was beautiful.
And the clown ate shit, mate.
The clown took the best Judas effect I've seen done.
But no, you do notice, this is my point I was going to, is the fact that all the heels are more likable. Like, they come out as genuine friends. Butcher already had a piece of cake and was hugging another wrestler within like 30 seconds of the ring.
Like I said, they have to band together, mate. They wouldn't survive otherwise.
The fucking TV show mute, like the fucking American sitcom TV music, and all the credits being Chris
The
Jericho.
too many
mate.
cooks, basically, at
It was
the end of it.
fucking-
It was great.
I loved it. I don't know if it's S rank. I'd definitely give the ending an A. I think it was really good fun
Definitely
and
an A.
really a laugh. And unfortunately, it has made me realise that I don't like many of the faces, and I love all the heels.
It is a big problem with the company, I feel, but we can discuss that, in like 5 minutes' time. But hey,
So what's our overall rank then, Mr. Strange? You keep the scores for Dynamite. What have we got?
Too many C's, mate. Too many C's. Too many C's. We've got a couple of A's for like cinematic moments, a couple of B's on like the wrestling and stuff. But when you look at the overall product, like, we have a really good wrestling match that we hated the result of, which compromises it all. It's a C rank show. It was all right. It was a bit of a fucking roller coaster, if I'm honest. I'd have put the Brody Cody match at the end, so at least I could have seethed at the end as opposed to
vice
halfway through the
presidential
show.
debate was on, mate, so they had to put it on in the middle of the show.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because it was basically nobody's going to be watching the second half of this show, basically, was their reasoning in America, because it was a vice president debate, so they put on the main show in the middle.
Yeah, no, it's a C rank show. As I said, you've got a lot of good wrestling. You've got a lot of bad story decisions. You've got some okay wrestling with comedy in there. C rank, unless either of you guys are going to try to edit the scale with your personal feelings. But I didn't feel particularly. I felt very whelmed after watching the match, watching the show.
The show put me not in a good mood afterwards, so it's not a good show for me.
Oh, so you're like more on the D side of the scale.
Well, it's not a
don't
D.
have any D. Well, actually, no, we do have some Ds.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
Morg?
Yeah, I think it just balances out. I was probably more on the B side, and I think that probably just balances it all out. Me and the Raptor really enjoyed it. There was only one thing we didn't like, but we really didn't like the one thing we didn't like. And we enjoyed the match because the Raptor didn't think she'd enjoy the dog collar match. She was very much like, I don't think this is going to be Raptor friendly, and then really enjoyed it. And it was a solid B. So I think we had, my notes mainly are sort of C's and B's. Sorry, C's, A's, and a BA. So yeah, I was probably on the more positive side. Enjoyed the match, enjoyed the show. Just really hated the one thing I really hated. Yeah. So there you have it. That's our review of the week. That's our thoughts on this week. Have you got thoughts on what you thought of this week? What did you think about Brody losing? Did you think it was actually a good idea? If so, and you want to hear our opinions or give us your opinions, you can send your questions, you can send your thoughts, you can send us things for us to talk about, discuss, people you'd like to see us book into AEW, or things you'd like us to rant about. That's at Wrestleopinionated@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, on Facebook at WrestleOP or WrestleOP1 on Twitter. Now is that time that we haven't had for a while, where one of us is going to get angry about something. And I think possibly two of us may get angry about something. It's time for that moment that we call the rant of the week. Over to you guys.
I am angry. I am angry about wrestling. I am angry about the inability to have anything other than fucking faces win. I am angry that we had a character who went from a fucking failed group to coming in, to building up, to losing his title match, to being billed as the next big fucking juggernaut thing. The man who beat fucking Cody in like 27 seconds, and he gets 6 weeks of title. 6 fucking weeks. John Moxley has been holding his title for near enough a fucking year. I am so bored of heels losing. Oh, look! Bobby's run out to beat Starks again. Oh, cool. Lance is going to go up against Mox. If Lance doesn't win next week, the only heels we have with any winning is FTR. And I know
they're so boring.
I was about to say, I know you love the Morg, and I know I like their wrestling style, but there are a lot of people who find them boring, and their actual stage persona bores me. I don't even have a shitty tweener to get behind. I am shitty tweener man. I like to watch a wrestling thing and go, yes, that one. The one who causes trouble and is a bit of an asshole. He is the fun one. I don't even have that. We've had a whole year of heels just being fucking smashed by faces. He was finally over. He looked like a beast. He did the fucking, what kind of a man? He was wicked. People all over the internet fucking popped for that promo. And 1 week later, he's smashed by a man who apparently only passed over the title so he could go and hold fucking Stars in Their Eyes America or whatever it fucking was.
Can I just raise something? Let's go over his 6 week run. So he had one match with Dustin where he barely won. Like, he clawed out a victory against Dustin, because Dustin's the most powerful thing since, Goku. And then he just barely beat Orange Cassidy because, he had to get help versus that. So basically, it just showed him as super weak, or Cody's super weak, or Cody was off that week. I don't understand where they were going. Why book Cody to lose so quickly and make such a statement out of it if you're just going to rectify it in 6 weeks? What's the fucking point?
That's worse than Naito and Evil with their title feud.
Yes, and that's a terrible title feud.
The faces just save each other all the time. We've had heels run out to the ring to try and fucking stop things, and just instantly a face materializes and beats them. There is no... I am not a fan of Lord of the Rings. It's quite a thing that comes up amongst people who know me, and it's quite controversial amongst a lot of the nerd society. The reason I don't like Lord of the Rings is I don't feel that the main characters actually go through any threat. Other than Boromir dying, that's about it. Oh, and one of the ghosty people stabs Elijah Wood, which is something I could probably achieve today if I put my mind to it. I would argue that there is more threat in Lord of the Rings than to these faces. I have seen this week QT take out 4 members of the... just fucking annihilate through 3 members of the Dark Order, including their strongest member, just to... so John Silver could beat him. Couldn't lose. No member of the Nightmare family has lost clean, except for possibly Brandy to Anna Jay in those couple of matches. Fair play, Brandy. Thank you. I'm just so sick of it. None of the faces are particularly likable. Like, I know you love Darby Allin, Morg, but he is very much the mysterious...
Very bland. There's nothing new about them.
He's a Jeff Hardy, gothy sort of person. I understand it. It's visual representation of face. And he does the right thing. That's understandable, but he's not exactly pulling off babyface promos. Cody comes out and cuts a promo like he's just fucking like overthrown the mountain and how he will always be a goodie. After, he basically gave this guy a title and went, I'm going to record a series for 6 weeks. I'll come get it back then. Which heels are scary? Name me one heel that is menacing in that roster. Anyone?
Kagetsu.
You fucking tease me.
Nyla Rose.
She's got a manager now, so she'll just start winning through shenanigans as opposed to power. But you are right. Nyla is probably the only one we've got that is currently a consistent winning.
Not threatening anyone. She was attacking Kylie King, who's some dark jobber. As much as I like her. Shit.
She's at least Morg's right. She's at least stomping people through
true.
power.
No. You make a good point, but
FTR have to cheat.
Yeah.
Team Taz have mostly lost and are probably going to lose next
squished every time.
Who else are heels? Dark Order just lost. Can't win a single match clean, apparently.
Nope.
What other heels are there actually in AEW?
There's whatever Kingston's group's called.
I mean, we'll have to see where they go. They're just sort of in the mid place at the moment, winning a couple, but they're not really doing anything healy. I'll take that. If they're going to be my fucking tweener faction, I'll take it. I'll hold on to that with my fucking hands and pray.
The problem is the baby faces are never outnumbered. It's common. It's wrestling psychology 101. You don't feel like the baby faces have to overcome because they're...
It's not even wrestling 101. It's fucking fiction 101.
Yeah.
There is no point. Even Goku of Dragon Ball Z, and most people have seen some Dragon Ball Z, even Goku has to lose like his first 2-3 fights against different people. Goku is yet to beat Vegeta clean in 30 years of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
What are they overcoming? They just win. It takes 17 baddies to beat one goodie. There's more goodies than baddies. They just fucking throw them aside, hold titles. Oh, here comes baddie. Yeah, I'm the meanest baddie. I'm gonna fucking fuck you up. My God, he is a mean baddie, but I've got the power of strength and heart on my side. And he just wins. Moxley, Darby, Cody, any Nightmare person. Cody is my least hated of the Nightmare people up until this week, and now he's fucking right back up there. Jesus Christ. They've even given up on finishing the 4 fucking horsemen. At least that would have been a heel stable.
No, they haven't. I have comment on that. It's going to be MJF. It's definitely going to be MJF now.
Well, he's just there, Ric Flair. But yeah, hopefully.
So that mean, from now on, Morg, you are officially banned whenever we do a book on the fly or an improvised storytelling. You are banned from adding additional faces to this promotion. And I know you love faces and you are the face man. I can't take it anymore. I don't understand how you can be the good guy who's overcoming adversity when you always win and you hold all the cards and you outnumber the enemy.
And you're like the owner of the company. You're the EVPs as well, which doesn't help.
It's like the fucking American invasion of Iraq. Don't worry, we're here to help you as good guys. Oh my God, you outnumber us so much you could just glass our country. We're here to save you. And don't get me wrong, the Iraqi situation was bad and such like, but they were the heels and they did just get fucking wrecked. It's all that's happening. I can't deal with it. I can't. This rant isn't ending, boys. I'm going for the rest of the fucking podcast.
That's fair. I think it's why you took to Stardom so well. It's because there's only 4 faces out of like 20 people, and it feels like the faces are up against the fucking wall in it. You know.
I've been reading up on Stardom, and the thing with Stardom is they don't have... every wrestler has their own individual marketing. You make money from your T-shirt, so you have to get yourself over.
Yeah.
And that's why there's one group of faces and 9,000 tweeners. And they're just everywhere.
It's great.
When I see a goodie, I'm like, can they beat these giants? Can they beat this crazy asshole? Can they beat this? And they beat them, and I'm like, yes, go, you little weird goblin, Mayu. Just, you know...
Yeah, exactly. You get behind it.
To root for. Yeah. Who can I root for in AEW? Where is the struggle? Where is the rising hero? I mean, cool. They break up MJF and Wardlow. Wicked. We've been waiting for Wardlow's solo stint for ages. What's he going to do though? What can Wardlow become? I wanted the wholesome Chads at the start. I wanted a Wardlow face turn. No. But now I'll just fucking scream. Just going to scream and roll on the floor as Wardlow is just fed heels to munch through. Oh, God. I haven't even seen Sean Spears in ages. At least he's a heel. I've burnt through anger now and I've hit despair. I'm sorry, lads. That's where I am.
So there you go. A repeat rant. Our probably our biggest issue with AEW. Stop booking your heels so badly. Let's move on. Try and get over that and see if we can get a little bit of positivity. It's time for us to have a discussion for the week. And Mr. Muir, as usual, you are the one who comes up with our discussion piece. What have you got for us this week?
Right, so technically it is now we've had an entire year of AEW because next week will be the anniversary. So it's just like a recap of what we've enjoyed, what we've changed on our opinions on things, and how do you think it's all gone in the cosm of it? How do we think that they've been booking? How do we think it's all gone down?
When Morg and I first started this podcast,
just
over 6 months ago, one of our first discussions was, is Dustin the greatest veteran? And we thought Dustin was doing really well. He was putting people over. He was a great vet. That's changed. Sorry. I'm going to go into positive, don't you worry.
I do believe that was our first discussion.
Yeah.
That's quite sad, really, isn't it, if you think about it? Because he was doing great. Like, I loved when he came out with the box, I think around 6 months ago, where he was just doing all their moves. And I thought it was great. I was like, yeah, go Dustin. That's amazing. You know, you're in a tag match where you take, 2 minutes and you do great. I don't need to see him go over the biggest heels I just want to see him pop every so often and remind me why he was so good.
We didn't like the Dark Order at the beginning.
No, we
I've got
didn't.
my. Didn't
Hangman
like the Dark Order. I thought they were shit. Didn't like Nyla. Didn't like Nyla
didn't
at the
like
start.
Nyla at all. No,
Brit.
Brit
Didn't
was
like Brit at the start.
no.
Brit needed the heel turn.
She
Yeah,
definitely
she did.
needed
That broken nose moment for her did fucking wonders.
Yeah,
And it was ace. She's been hilarious. Private Party have been on a roller coaster, in my opinion. At first, I thought they were fucking ace. Then they only had one match for like 4 months, and now they're back on that improvised fun scale. So they've been on a roller coaster with me. But I do hate Matt Hardy's new meta gimmick of talking like a man who's a wrestler. At least the best friends do it in a meta stupid way. You know what I mean? I'm not down for you, Matt Hardy. I love wrestling, and this is why your brother was the famous one. Get a stupid gimmick.
Get your stupid gimmick back, mate.
But yeah, no, we've weirdly all the people we thought were going to be good have stayed good. Cody has been good, regardless of opinions of this week.
Yeah.
Kenny, obviously great, and his story with Hangman has got Hangman over because Hangman was singles originally, and they put him with Kenny.
And his Pac storyline from earlier in the year was fucking fantastic. That was my
To be fair, and the Mox storyline.
Yeah.
Things that Kenny touches, he may not be the greatest promo, but things that Kenny touches still turn to gold.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal wrestler and he loves wrestling. Him and Ibushi wanted to make wrestling more than just, men just punch each other. And they've done really well at that. They've got their... Obviously, we don't have Ibushi yet, but we will.
So in our first year at AEW, I think we've had 2 S-rank AEW matches.
We have
maybe 3.
And we've got more. We've got Bucks and Bucks Kenny. I think. But I'm doing short here. I think we gave Bucks and the Lucha Brothers an S as well.
Oh yes, we might have done.
Best friends hardcore match.
Yes.
Yeah, we loved that though.
Yeah.
Justin and Cody.
Justin and Cody was a fantastic match.
That was just pre Dynamite though, wasn't it? Well, that was pre AEW.
I'm putting it in. It was a great match. As much as both of them have fucked me off this week.
Yeah,
that match.
Yeah.
Story. It gets in. Yeah, we've had a bunch of matches, really good matches that we've cared about. So I've got at least 5 S-rank matches down there. So we're getting like 1 every 6 weeks or so, I'd say.
Yeah,
I do well enough for us to want to do a podcast about it. You know.
Yes, we've not dropped. I think maybe we've had 1 Dynamite that dropped below a C, and on average, I think our Dynamites have been a B.
Yeah, normally they are.
Yeah. We mostly have a really good time, and there's a few rock and roll up and down ones. Very rarely do they give us a bad show. Every wrestler I hated, they've managed to bring round to make me love, which is incredibly crazy. They've built a load of new talent, like the Pentago, Will Hobbs, all rising.
Orange Cassidy.
I mean, Orange Cassidy was already fucking internet famous. They had the
yeah, but he's now like more mainstream famous.
If we're going with the indie boys, Chuck, obviously, LAX and Trent have always been known and stuff, so you can't really give it to them. Sammy Guevara.
Sammy, very much so. Yes.
So they have been doing really well. If getting fresh talent over, compared to say like WWE, that's got maybe McIntyre over this year. The only person,
and he was nearly over already.
Yeah. So if you think about it that way, compared to the other biggest,
all I'm saying is Chikara stars work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rudy, Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, Eddie. I don't know. LAX.
We've also had some good surprise entrance peoples. New signings, Matt Sydal, obviously, not the greatest entrance, but Brody's was really good, and Matt's. And considering you're doing these without a crowd, you still managed to pop us at home. And of course, who can defeat the Path of Cage, which I think was probably the biggest pop from all of us
Oh, I
And they buried him in
that
that match.
was
Great.
that was hilarious when we
Buried in
watched.
things, not buried in wrestling terms.
Yeah, when we were, because we were slightly ahead of you in the because we watched
you
that one on the Discord, and we were slightly, sorry, not watched the Discord. We were chatting through Discord while we watched it, and we were slightly ahead of you. Who will stop the Path of Cage? I popped. Raptor went, whoa, clicked as to who it was, and then you guys went. And we just heard, and we had to keep absolutely silent. And then
until they came out. Yeah.
and then you guys popped about like 30 seconds after us.
Okay, I'm gonna positive, Matthew. I have popped for every single heel reveal in AEW. I can't wait to see what they do with them all.
They're going to be huddling around a campfire, keeping themselves safe.
Just Cody's eyes in the darkness. Like, whoa.
They've got one of those old bins like the hobos in movies always have on fire, and they're all huddling around.
Ricky Starks has got a bat looking out into the dark, waiting for Darby Allin to next strike. Please no.
Darby, and I know I like Darby, and you explained why. It's because I like Darby's gimmick more than anything else. He's about the only one, just to go back to our rant, he's about the only one, though. And unfortunately, because of all the other faces going over all the time, I think it's coloured it completely. Because he's the only one who's actually had a legitimate thing where his heel has been a dick to him. And he and was a verbal dick. We haven't had enough of that either. So on the downside, let's have some more dickish heel promos. Let Jericho do some more. Jericho and Kingston and MJF do more promos, please. The other one, of course.
Let them run for a while. Give them some time. You don't need to have the feud, have a promo, and then have a match and end it. We can deal with booking that's longer than 3 weeks.
Can we have some long-term booking that isn't just revolved around the elite?
Nightmare people.
The elite are the other ones who have all the really good long-term stories.
Yeah, it's true. I'm going to be positive. I've been angry and I can't keep ranting for the rest of the podcast. We've had a lot of very good longer booking, but you're right, it is all around the elite, but it's the first year and they are the guys who sort of found it, so that makes sense. We need to lead into the longer booking of other groups now. We're blatantly getting the Bucks rise up and whatever's going on between Hangman and Kenny, but on the other hand, you've got so many weird indie guys who know each other so much. As much as I want the Lucha Brothers to go back to Pac when he gets back, I think the Eddie Kingston Scummer stable is great, and I think Butcher and the Blade need Eddie more than the Lucha Bros do. I've come round on all manner of different characters. I don't have a face I really like, other than Hangman. He's complicated face, though. He's not just good guy, man. He makes bad, good decisions. He's a character. Cody isn't a character.
He's just white meat baby face.
Yeah. Wow.
You need some of them though. You need your goth baby face, white meat, but at least we've got, and you need your badass baby face.
I'm happy honest, to have all of these things, but they need to have diversity.
I mean, to be fair, all they actually need is Cody, Mox, Darby, and Hangman. That's the only baby faces you need. And then stick Kenny and the Bucks in tweener mode. Maybe private, maybe a couple of baby faces. I'm talking singles here.
You mean top of the card singles,
yeah, singles. And that's all you need. Cody, your white meat. Hangman, your interesting character who you're going to get behind. Mox, your badass baby face who's going to hit you with a baseball bat if you don't, So he's the one I've always said heels should beware of. You don't bad talk Mox because that's his gimmick. And Darby because you need to have a goth alt baby face because that's a thing in wrestling. Because wrestling fans like a goth dark, and Darby needs to be darker. Needs to stop being a skateboarder.
I don't mind him skateboarding. I just don't need a random Guinness advert with a skateboarding celebrity I've never heard of.
We need more of the ones when it was him with the paper face masks.
Yeah, burning things.
Yeah,
that was the interesting.
Go for the darker thing, not the skateboarding thing. Use the skateboarding thing every now and again just to explain why he doesn't stay down.
Unless he comes to the ring and Superman by Goldfinger plays, and then all
and the only skateboarding celebrities who should be in any way endorsing him is Tony Hawk's and Bam Margera. That's it, because they're the only two anyone fucking know who they are.
Yeah. No,
Even I know Bam Margera. It took me a second to think, but I went Jackass Man, and I was ready. You know, and I am arguably as the Scar Kid here. I should know skateboarding people, but it was never for me because I am square and clumsy and not cool.
So there you have it. That's our show for the week. That's what we think of the first year. That's what we
We're
think
ending
of
with
this
the fact that I'm not cool.
We're all not cool.
We're doing a wrestling podcast.
Stranger said he's not cool.
We are a bunch of
You are
larpers.
the
We are a
shit.
bunch of LARPing, D&D playing, anime watching, superhero fanboy, wrestling fans doing a podcast about wrestling on our Sunday.
How dare you? I don't like superheroes that much.
Me neither.
I was throwing that. I was making sure we were covered on all bases.
Yeah, no, it's true. Sorry. Well, I'd just like to end this show saying I'm really cool and I have lots of friends. Morg, feel free to do the ending.
I would like to end that I'm the best kisser.
Am I going to have to be the Brody Lee in this? And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Take this home, Morg.
So, like to say thank you to Anchor.fm for hosting our podcast. You can find us at Wrestleopinionated on YouTube, Anchor.fm, or Spotify. And over to Mr. Muir.
Sad to be the sad one today and being upset about how Dynamite went, but thank you very much for listening. And if you'd like to send us in any stuff or questions or anything you'd like us to discuss, please send it in to wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, and WrestleOP1 on Twitter. Over to you, Strange.
Hi there, if you can go to the Stardom channels or YouTube and search Kagetsu versus Mayu, please watch those matches. If she gets enough likes, she might come back to the industry. Anyway, thank you for listening to our podcast. Please do like, share, subscribe. The more this passes on, the more people listen to it, the better I feel, to be completely honest. We got a bunch of new subscribers this week, and that felt pretty good to me. It's inspiring to put this effort in for you boys and girls. So, and the wonderful color of rainbow in between. So please like, share, subscribe, share to your friends. If you like hearing us, send in some questions to the other boys. You've got the numbers and addresses. Back to you, Morg.
So all that's left to be said is goodbye and good night.